that I was, you know, I was there from 12 to 15. One of the people that were in my dorm that I was in actually grew up to be a horrific rapist and murderer. You know what I mean? He, you know, abducted a little girl, he raped her, and he took a cinder block and he crushed her skull in. Those are the type of people that I was in this boys' home with. You know what I mean? So just to put it in perspective, is real life shit. But it was definitely beneficial because it was like training camp for prison for me. You know, like again, like I've been in trouble since I was a little kid and been through stuff. So when I was 18 years old, I'm skipping a bunch of stuff because I don't know how much time we have. But when I was 18, I got arrested by the United States Secret Service, DEA, task force, local police. It was crazy. And so I went to prison from 19 to 22. And you know, it was real serious prison. It was maximum security stuff. This is where R. Kelly was in MDC Brooklyn, where El Chapo was in Strauss-Kahn in MCC Manhattan. When I was in prison, I was in the hole, which is administrative segregation for fighting. And my cellmate, and yes, people don't realize this, but in the federal system, I don't know how, you know, the state system works or what have you, but in the feds, you have cellmates unless your classification, unless they're afraid that somebody's going to, you know, kill you or something like that. Yeah, that's overcrowding in prisons. You know what I mean? So, and you know what my freaking cellmate was? The damn World Trade Center bomber. Right. People don't realize they bombed the World Trade Center twice, not just once. 2001 was the catastrophic situation. But in 1993, they bombed it, you know, and it didn't bring the things down, but it was a pretty serious thing. They bombed the World Trade Center. So the guy that bombed the World Trade Center was my freaking cellmate. And so if you think about this, it's utterly surreal. Now to digress, I'm going to go back in the story a little bit. So from, let's just say when I got home from the boys' home from like 15 to 17, I got really involved into skateboarding and to the rave scene. And just my natural born, you know, hustling. I went from just like buying a couple pills to buying, you know, more pills just to, you know, so I covered my cost of my partying to like, man, shit, like I'm able to pump like, you know, 20 pills like in like 20 minutes in one of these raves. This is like the mid 90s. This is like really lit with the rave scene in New York City. And for the people listening to this, I mean, no disrespect to people outside NYC, but like, I'm a New York City real raver, right, not one of these candy ravers with like pacifiers and, you know, ring pops and ish like that. No disrespect to those people, but nah, like I was into like just straight up techno and dancing and just like the whole like subculture of the drug scene. And I started selling hundreds of pills. So it would be, I'm like 17, 18 years old, making $3,000 to $6,000 partying, getting lit, hooking up with like hot chicks, just balling. Then I go to New York City and I wind up working not working first. I started like, you know, like going, I'm 18 years old. You can't even get into these clubs until you're 21. At 18 years old, I'm running VIP parties for models and celebrities in the hottest nightclubs in the world, in Limelight, Tunnel, and Palladium, right? It's just the craziest shit. We start, you know, working one VIP party, then another one. And then, you know, I'm bringing in the best type of ecstasy in. And we were importing ecstasy from Amsterdam. We had an international flight route because Amsterdam's a hot country. And remember, this is in 1995, let's say 1995. You know, we didn't just go from JFK to there, and it wasn't me, it was my girlfriend. I was a drug dealer promoter. She was a model stripper. We were a match made in hell, right? So her name is Jessica. We'll leave her last name off. Her name is Jessica, super like beautiful woman. She actually was one of our couriers. And who the partner, one of the main people was a guy named Jade. He was a freaking actor from Baywatch. He was the guy that looked like Fabio, you know, Diesel with the long hair. Like he was a freaking drug dealer. A lot of people don't realize that whole bullshit about, you know, like actors are just waiters and waitresses. No, some of them are waiters and waitresses. Other actors are drug dealers because it's easier and faster to turn on and make money real quick while you're trying to go through auditions. So what we were doing is that we would have these chicks fly from JFK to either a country like Germany or Belgium. From one of those countries, they would take a train into Holland. Once they're in there, we actually had connections with laboratories there, which is not hard to do, by the way. You just need to go and make a connect. It's like now, you know how people could understand this now how you could get weed anywhere at these dispensaries. Well, that's how this shit was back then, in Amsterdam, in the red light district and stuff like that. So what was crazy is that we were selling pills, good pills, for